So one of the things that autocrats specialize in is doing what seemed unthinkable. And when I did my research for my book, I didn't realize how common it was that people were taken by surprise. Even when all the signs were there, they thought, for example, famously, Hitler and Mussolini were just crazy, ranting, and then they were surprised when things developed the way they did. And this is amazing. Even in a coup, like in Chile, the coup U.S.-backed coup in 1973, the conservative Christian Democrats, the establishment party, they actually thought that the junta, the military officials, Pinochet, they were going to, quote, restore order and then return power to them, and somehow democracy would come back into being. And so this kind of delusions and being unprepared are typical of these situations. And, I wrote the book so that we could avoid this fate. And that we have a chance to turn this around before this starts. And it's all the more important now because, unfortunately, not all autocrats talk about violence with such gusto openly as Donald Trump. He's up there with, Rodrigo Duterte, the former Philippine leader, in kind of saying bloodthirsty things all the time, and admiring the Chinese because they could execute people, and telling his former officials and people in his inner circle that he wanted to use firing squads and hanging and guillotines. And so this is an extraordinarily dangerous person who now has unlimited powers. But we have a chance, unlike the history cases of the past, to avoid all this. And we've got to do everything possible to inform people of the outcomes that could happen.
You wrote the book so we would avoid the fate in part. Are you optimistic we still can? I'm always optimistic because to lose hope is to become fatalist, and to lose hope is to give up on yourself and on your fellow Americans. And we don't have much time, but one of my mantras is never underestimate the American people.